Hello and welcome back to Revenge Stories. I'm Mike, and I hope you're having a wonderful day. Today I have a story for you from the pros. I know you're going to enjoy it. Let's go ahead and jump right in. This story comes to us from a Reddit thread that has been shared over 40,000 times. And I have to warn you, by the end of this one, you're going to question everything you think you know about trust. After you hear this one, I want you to drop a rating in the comments. Out of 10, how good is this revenge? Let's see what everyone thinks. If you're new here, hit subscribe. This channel is built for people who believe that karma always finds its way. And save this channel. Bookmark it. Because when the betrayal comes to you, and it will, you'll want to know exactly how to handle it. That's what we're here for. She sold the cat while he was at work. $30,000. Gone. And she used every cent of it on a necklace she wore to dinner that same night. Sat across from him, smiled, said nothing. His name is Daniel. And for 3 years, he had built what he genuinely believed was a good life. Not perfect, but solid. He had a job he was proud of, a home he had paid for himself, and a wife he had chosen on purpose. He wasn't naive. He had seen bad relationships up close, his parents, his friends, the cautionary tales people tell at weddings. He thought he had avoided all of it. And then there was Cyrus. Cyrus was a silver Persian, show-grade, rare coloring, the kind of cat that turns heads at exhibitions. Daniel had acquired him 6 years before he met his wife. Long before the marriage, long before any of it. Cyrus wasn't just a pet. He was the one constant in a decade of change, apartments, cities, jobs, relationships that didn't last. The cat had been there through every version of Daniel's life. There was a folder on his phone with over 2,000 photos. That's not a pet owner. That's a bond. His wife, Natalie, had never hidden the fact that she found Cyrus inconvenient. She was allergic. Mildly, she claimed, though it seemed to flare with particular force whenever she wanted something. She had made comments. Small ones. The kind you file away and try not to think too hard about. He sheds everywhere. He smells. Do you really need to spend that much on vet visits? Daniel had heard them all. He had also taken Cyrus to 3 separate specialists to confirm the allergy was manageable, installed air purifiers in every room, and changed the grooming schedule. He had done everything a reasonable person does when 2 things they love are in conflict. He thought that was enough. Drop a comment right now. Out of 10, how much did you trust your last partner? Just a number. I want to see it. What Daniel didn't know, what he had no way of knowing, was that Natalie had been quietly researching Persian cat breeders and private buyers for 4 months. She had found a buyer in another state. She had negotiated a price. She had arranged a pickup date. She had done all of this while sleeping next to him, eating dinner with him, telling him she loved him. And on a Tuesday afternoon in March, while Daniel was in a meeting that ran until 6, a man arrived at their house with a carrier and drove away with Cyrus. When Daniel got home, the house felt different before he understood why. He called Cyrus's name. Nothing. He checked the usual spots, the windowsill, the armchair, the corner behind the dryer where Cyrus liked to sleep in winter. Nothing. He went to Natalie. She was in the kitchen. He didn't move fast. He moved carefully. That was the thing Natalie had miscalculated. She had assumed that because Daniel was quiet, he was slow. He wasn't slow. He was methodical. He spent 3 weeks building the case while living in the same house, sleeping in the same bed, saying nothing. He was warm. He was normal. He bought her coffee on Saturday mornings. He asked about her week. He was, to all outward appearances, a man who had accepted what happened and moved on. He had not moved on. He had moved sideways, into a very precise position. Save this channel. Not for today. For the day someone gives you a reason to use it. The legal filing landed on a Monday. The civil suit named Natalie personally. The grounds were conversion of separate property, breach of the prenuptial agreement, and because the broker had facilitated the sale of an asset that could be documented as non-transferable without consent. The lawyer was exploring whether the broker carried liability as well. The filing sought the return of Cyrus, damages equal to the full market value of the asset, including loss of use and legal fees. But that was only the first document. The second document was a petition for divorce, filed the same day, same hour, timed to arrive simultaneously, so that Natalie's lawyer would be dealing with both at once in the first moment. The prenuptial agreement she had signed had one more clause, one she had clearly not read carefully. In the event of a divorce where one party was found to have committed a civil wrong against the other party's separate property, that party forfeited their right to any claim on joint assets accumulated during the marriage. Their house, their savings, the investment account Daniel had been quietly growing since before they met. All of it off the table. She had sold a $30,000 cat. She had surrendered a marriage worth considerably more. The buyer, when contacted by Daniel's lawyer, turned out to be someone who had purchased Cyrus in good faith. He was a legitimate breeder, a decent person, and when he understood the full situation, that the cat had been sold without the owner's knowledge or consent, that the sale was legally challengeable, that he was potentially in possession of converted property, he agreed to return Cyrus voluntarily in exchange for a release of any claim against him personally. He asked only that his purchase price be reimbursed, which became part of the damages claimed against Natalie. Cyrus came home on a Friday afternoon, 3 weeks after he had been taken. Daniel drove 4 hours each way. He didn't tell anyone. He just went, picked him up, drove home, and sat on the kitchen floor with him for a long time. Natalie was not in the house when he returned. She had moved to her sister's after the filing. The house was quiet in a way it hadn't been in years. Drop your rating in the comments out of 10. How clean was this? I want to see your number. The divorce settled 8 months later. The prenuptial agreement held. Natalie's lawyers challenged a separate property clause and lost. She left the marriage with what she had brought into it, which was not much, and the diamond necklace, which had technically been purchased with money from an illegal sale and was therefore subject to a separate recovery action that her lawyers strongly advised her to settle quickly. She did. She returned the necklace. The money from its return went to offset Daniel's legal fees. The total cost of Natalie, when every settlement was calculated, was somewhere north of $200,000. For a cat she had called just a cat. Cyrus is still on the windowsill, still in the armchair, still in the corner behind the dryer in winter. There are now over 3,000 photos in the folder. Some people look at a life that someone built and assume they can take pieces of it without consequence. They mistake patience for passivity. They mistake kindness for weakness. They see someone who loves something deeply, and they call an inconvenience. They don't understand that the depth of that love is also the depth of what they are risking. Daniel didn't go looking for revenge. He went looking for what was his. The revenge was just what happened when the law caught up with someone who thought the rules didn't apply to her. The score always gets settled. Every single